Amos 4, here God really pleads with his people to get it. He says, look, you've suffered so much. Your history, Israel, is the most tragic of all histories, but you still don't get it. He said, I struck you many times with plagues. Your fig trees, your olive trees were eaten up with locusts, but you still didn't return to me, says Yahweh. I sent plagues among you like I did upon Egypt. I slew your young men and carried away your horses. I filled your nostrils with the stench of your camps, but you didn't return to me. Sounds a bit like the death camps that were here in Europe in an earlier generation. And yet, for all this tragedy, God's people didn't return to him. This is the tragedy of the history of Israel, the most tragic history of incredible persecution, of incredible hatred and misery, and yet not returning to God in the sense of accepting his son. Now, we can be the same. We can be the kid who doesn't get it. The world is full of kids who don't get it, just overgrown kids. Life goes wrong and they're frustrated by this, and also they try that and that goes wrong and this goes wrong, and life is just one crisis after another. And they come to the end of their days and think, well, life wasn't fair, life was tough. You see, in our lives, God is using all that stuff to bring us to him. If you come to him, if you do repent and return to him, it doesn't mean all that stuff doesn't happen necessarily, although there is great blessing and great peace have they who love God's law. But although those things may happen, you see them differently. You see that this is God's humbling hand, to humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time. So don't stumble through life, regretting this and resenting that and complaining about this and that wasn't fair and then that went wrong. You just be the kid that doesn't get it. Get it. Get with the program and see that God, as he's trying to explain to his people here, God has a wonderful, eternal, long-term plan to give you everlasting life with eternal blessing. Just now in this couple of millimeters down here, compared to the long line of infinity, yeah, sure, he's preparing us. Just accept that and go with that, with trust, with faith, and with absolute hope in the final outcome that God wishes only to do us good at our latter end.